And now, it's that time of the week once again. Welcome to the Departure Lounge podcast with your hosts, Tom Whittle and Steve Wooldridge. Your ticket to the home of aviation podcasts. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode number 34 of the Departure Lounge podcast here on the Departure Lounge YouTube channel. We are here on a Wednesday. This is our new slot now. We're doing this, as we mentioned, on Sunday. This is our new time slot. This is what we're doing. So hello, everybody who is joining us on this Wednesday evening. Hopefully you're having a great week. I'll explain everything sort of in the beginning in a minute. But we will get everybody in first. So joining me this evening, my name, of course, is Tom Whittle. Joining me this evening is wonderful co-host and hopefully not having too much issue connection-wise, Steve Wooldridge. Steve, a good evening to you.
Tom, good evening, everyone who's watching at home on our new time slot and for this. And obviously, I hope you're well with what you've at the top of the show there.
Yeah, we'll get on to that in a minute. But yeah, other than that, I'm okay. I'm not too bad. Not too bad at all. Like I say, here on a Wednesday, it's a little bit different. So it's kind of, a little bit new, but hopefully everyone sort of enjoys what we've got planned this evening.
Yeah, that's it. And it will be a good show tonight discussing the Antonov. There's quite a lot of sort of research and some really interest about it. So it's definitely something I'm looking forward to talking about. Both night. Definitely.
And also joining us this evening is, of course, Ian Hartley, the contributor to the show and resident comment reader. Ian, good evening to you. How are you?
I'm very well, Tom. Thanks. You?
Despite everything, yeah, not too bad.
Yeah.
Despite everything, not too bad. Not too bad.
Yeah. How are you, Steve? You all right as well?
Really good, thank you. But I've had a decent week at work so far, so I've got no complaints. So yeah, all good, thank you.
It is. Feels a bit more relaxed being on a Wednesday. Yeah, true. Yeah, we're over the hill now, aren't we? So it's weekend.
Yep. Age-wise, probably.
Wonderful. Right, well, we'll address the. Let me get that off there. We'll address the elephant in the room. Reason for the tribute at the beginning of the show. I had some devastating news yesterday morning to say that one of my best friends of 20 plus years unfortunately decided he didn't really want to be here anymore, and unfortunately took his life. It's raw to say that. It is still a massive shock to me. It will probably hit me hard at some point. I'm trying really hard not to kind of just, try not to get emotional at this point. But basically, I'll keep it obviously short. As the picture says, I love you, I miss you, and this show, because I know he was a secret listener. He told me, he was like, I'm always sitting in the background, I'm not going to comment, etc. I'm just going to let you do your thing. I love you, I miss you, and this show is for you. This show is for you. So hopefully you enjoy it. So hopefully, but that's basically what happened. For anybody that might be wondering why there was a small tribute at the beginning, we'll probably do the tribute at the end as well. But that's what happened, and got a lot of thank yous at the end as well. But we'll save that for the end. As we get into it, Josh Sucks at Aviation says hello. So hello to you. Also, don't be afraid to get any comments in you wish to give to us this evening. If anybody has any sort of info or just anything that they want to share in regards to the topic for this evening, which of course is the Antonov AN225, whether you want us to show you videos or pictures or anything that you so wish, you can send it through to our social medias, which we're going to run through shortly. But we'll go through, obviously, very quickly the housekeeping, and then we'll get into it. So we are, like I said, on social medias. We're on Instagram, Discord, Facebook, Twitter, and of course, we're on Spotify as well. So you can follow us on all of those. Because we're on Spotify, you can take us anywhere that you want to take us. Basically, if we go for a run or wherever you listen to your podcasts, etc., you can take us along with you and listen to every other episode that we have done so far. My train of thought is gone, so I'm trying to remember what we're doing here. After that is what do we normally do after that? It's fine. Merch-wise, you can get your merch on the website. That is in the description below. You can't get the Pride shirts no more because that's all done and dusted. But little merch, little thing there you go. So we've got a link in the description below if you wish to buy some merch from mugs, t-shirts, hoodies, stickers, cups, mugs, blah, etc. You can get everything on there as well. They are very good quality. As you can see, we have our own special ones. I think Steve's got the Pride shirt that he's wearing, which obviously, like I said, is no longer not available at the moment. And yeah, there's a whole variety of stuff, and we've got some more stuff coming out as well. So we'll be keeping an eye on that one. I'm sure there was something else that we do. Ooh, just get rid of the overlay. There we go. We'll just jump into it, I think. And also, if you wish to be a guest on the show at any point, whether it's like I say, to talk about anything, etc., come and give us a message on any of the social medias. Like I said, we'll be putting those through as the show goes on. So yeah, drop us a message and we'll get you on the show. Let's jump into it, shall we?
I think so.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, a fascinating show, this one. So yeah, it'll be good.
Yes, yeah, hopefully. And like I said, you'll have to forgive me if I get a little bit lost for words and stuff. Just just going to try and persevere because I think that's probably what you want.
I think we'll be all right.
So yes.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely right. Yeah.
Rob Brown Plane Spotting says, "Evening, guys from the north. Blocks of ice for feet." It's definitely a chilly one. It's it's not great out there tonight, is it?
No, it's cold down there as well. To be
honest, yeah. I was out at sun today in Lancaster fishing all day, and it was lovely. Sun was shining on you.
Blisteringly cold, I think, is the best way of putting it.
Yeah, but the sun always shines when you're in.
There's cold, and then there's Rob Brown Aviation cold, and Northern England cold. You know what I mean? Let's face it, you Southerners. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it dipped below weather. Dipped below 20. That was rather chilly.
Wonderful. Right, let's do this. Let's jump into tonight's topic, which of course is the Mammoth aircraft, which is the Antonov AN225. Right off the bat, have any of us seen it?
225. I thought you were doing 124 tonight.
No,
I'm just kidding.
I'd say so. I'd call you something, but I won't.
Wednesday's casual.
Casual Wednesday.
Yeah.
No,
sorry,
it's not one I've ever seen myself, to be honest. I know it's been doing the rounds over to Ireland recently. It's probably sort of come vaguely over the top of me. I've never seen it up close and personal. That's for sure.
Yeah. I mean, apart from, I think you've seen it over the top, haven't you, when it's gone over you?
I saw it flying when it did from Prestwick down to that obscure airport in France somewhere. I think it was something like 16,000 feet. Awesome sight, absolutely awesome. Yeah,
never seen it myself.
It just looks. It's such a big bird, obviously, and with 6 engines, and obviously I don't know what speed it's flying at, but it just looks so slow as it gracefully, just moves across the sky, sort of thing. It's fantastic.
Yes, yeah, I've not seen it myself. It is something that I am really wanting to see, just so I can tick it off my bucket list and stuff. But yeah, I mean, there's a really good history behind the aircraft as well, which we're going to get into shortly as well. We're going to go from sort of its humble beginnings to sort of what it was built for, and sort of so on and so forth, really, and sort of the plans for the future for it. Like I said, if anybody has any pictures, photos, drawings, etc., that they want us to show off of the Antonov 225 this evening, do send them over to us. I'll quickly run through the social medias so you can get an idea for where to send them. Send them over to us on Twitter at the Dep Lounge YT, or Instagram, which, if the internet's allowing it, because I have read that Instagram is also down, but I don't know if it is or not. But if it isn't down, send them over there as well. Any links, etc., etc. Let's jump into it. So let's point out the obvious to begin with. 6-engine aircraft, the biggest aircraft in the world, and it's been in service since December 1988. Nickname of, I want to call it Myra. I say Myra. I don't know say Myra, but Myra. People have different ways of saying it, and I'm sure there is a correct way of saying it, but I say Myra because it's just easy to remember for me. But yeah, nickname of Myra, which is meant as a dream or inspiration. And of course, it's a cargo aircraft as well, designed by Antonov. The beginnings of this aircraft was interesting from what I was reading and from everything that I've known through like YouTube videos and things that I've watched and that. Because it wasn't designed as a freighter to begin with, was it?
No, it's it. It was part of their the Soviet Union, as it was. It was part of their space program to sort of transport. Well, first of all, transport sort of spacecraft engines and rockets around the country to get them to the correct place, and then ultimately to launch the spaceships up in the air, because it was something like a tenth cheaper or something to fly them up and release them than it would be to let them go from the ground. So that was sort of its origin, to sort of mimic the American space shuttle launch craft. So that was the reasoning behind it.
Yeah, it's definitely got a bit of an interesting history. Like you said, it was built purely as a like a space program aircraft to carry the parts for the rockets. I think they call it. Is it the Energia? I think they call it, or something. The Energia rockets. I think.
It sounds familiar. Yeah. Rob Brown's put in. Yeah, it's the Buran class orbiter.
Yeah, which was their obviously version of the shuttle.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But yeah, so that's what it was mainly built for. It was for the obviously the Soviet space program. It was, I mean, it's one of those pub quiz questions. But do we know what it was built as a replacement for?
Well, they replaced the. It was an upgrade on the 124 for the purpose of it, but the aircraft that actually replaced. I've got no chance of saying it. It was my last Chiov VMT, but I'm not Ukrainian. I don't pretend to be Ukrainian. So if you want a better pronunciation, but give the viewers a chance.
Yeah, I think it's called Myashishchev.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said.
That's my sort of pronunciation for it. It's going to be Myashishchev VMT, which again that Myashishchev. I'm showing off now. Myashishchev VMT aircraft. Again, in itself is a very interesting aircraft, because that was obviously originally built again to carry or to be like a heavy lift cargo aircraft. So obviously the 225 was a direct replacement for it. I suppose once they didn't really have a reason for it after the space program decided to be cancelled, they had this great big lumbering aircraft just sat there basically doing nothing.
Well, yeah, that's the problem, was it? The Soviet Union was banned, so they never actually got to use it for the purpose that it was built for. It did a kind of air shows and that, and then pretty much sat redundant for a good amount of time, and it cost them millions, because every time something went wrong with 124s or whatever, they were robbing bits left, right, and centre. So to get it back in the air, it took a massive amount of money to refit it and put everything back on it that had been sort of borrowed to keep other aircraft serviceable.
Yeah. So that the Eastern European aircraft have always been something that's very different. They don't, going way back, they didn't really have as much of the technology as sort of the West did in terms of like America and everything else, like UK, let's say France, etc. And obviously the Myasishchev aircraft is very, is very. I'm showing off now, but we can probably go into it. You can probably do an entire sort of show on it, and I think we probably will do once we'll go and have a really good sort of dive into like Eastern European aviation. I think that'll always be an interesting one to do. But once the sort of the need of having this aircraft sort of became redundant, and I think there was supposed to be two. There's supposed to be two built, and only one was successfully built, with obviously the second one just sat resting somewhere in Ukraine, and sort of unfinished. They figured, rather than just sort of have this aircraft, just sitting there, why not use it for cargo and that? And like they have they put it in storage in 1994 once they saw that actually we don't really know what to do with this now, because we've built a huge plane that we don't really know what we're doing with. It was put into good use, and obviously, like I say, nowadays it's just a huge attraction anywhere it goes.
Yeah, it's quite. Even when it went back into service, they still kept the old kind of Soviet controls. It was all kind of analog and a bit sort of basic compared to what we used to these days. They never really sort of updated the internals of it. But when you look at the way it's loaded, it's a really clever, but it does seem strange that they never bothered to update the inside of it as a.
Yeah. Ian, it is like I say, it's an aircraft that turns heads pretty much anywhere it goes. It draws a huge crowd, etc. Obviously, there has been sort of talk about a second one being built. Obviously, as we mentioned, there is a hull for a second one, but it's never been completed and things like that. And rumors keep popping up left, right, and centre that the second one is going to eventually be done. Do you think it will, or do you think we'll just be stuck with the one as the sort of once in a lifetime sort of aircraft?
No, definitely not. I definitely think they will make the other one. I mean, I think all the parts, they're still at Antonov. I suppose one of Antonov's warehouses in the Ukraine, aren't they? I was looking at some pictures of it, and it's just sat there, isn't it? But all the major components have already been made for it, haven't they? I think they said they would redesign the cockpit and all the instrumentation of it and what have you, if it did come round to getting built again. But I think they're just waiting for that right moment. I mean, I've got a section here, and it's telling me that the largest cargo plane in the world was back in the space game, helping China to launch its satellites. The Aerospace Industry Corporation of China has just linked a deal with Antonov that will see the design and development of the new Type AN225 that will have heavier lifting capabilities. The Chinese plan was to use the AN225 to carry satellites on its back and launched them 7 miles into space. The satellite launch industry is worth more than $200 billion, a space race that Chinese are keen to profit from. Now, I think this is an old piece of news I've got, and I think that's going back to around about 2016, something like that. So it's going back a few years when the Chinese showed a massive interest in acquiring this second 225. But Antonov have actually said that it is all ready to go. They reckon it'll cost something in the region of, I've got a figure for it somewhere. It was a lot of money. It was something like $200 to $300 million or something stupid to rebuild this plane. But it's all sat there and just waiting for the funding. But they reckon that when it is needed, which we think it will be needed, that the investors will jump on board straight away, because it's going to be a massive, massive profit maker, to be quite honest. I think some of the cargo it's been carrying, these massive transformers going to these obscure places like Bolivia and God knows where, it's just not possible to get them to these kinds of places by rail or by any other kind of air transport. So they are going to need something, where things are changing with climate change and this, that, and the other. All this kind of technology is going to have to be put into these remote parts of the world to help them in their carbon emissions and things like that. And they've got to get it there somehow. And the AN225 is that way of getting it there. So I definitely think we will see another one.
Do you think, though, at £30,000 an hour flying costs, it might put off a few people, perhaps?
In respect of what? I mean, some of this cargo, what they're carrying is
like the fuel cost, and it's 30 grand an hour it costs to fly the aircraft. I know, obviously we got the one, but
yeah, I mean, at the moment it's a proper vodka burner, isn't it? So it's going to be expensive to fly, isn't it? I think given time, maybe I couldn't. Are the Gen X engines what they're starting to use on the 777s? Is that what they are, Tom? Them ones, the new 777 engines, what they're using on the new 777? Are they Gen X engines or something?
I think so. They are a huge upgrade to the GE90. I think they're like GE9X engines. I think.
Is that what they are? Yeah,
I believe so.
I think they're probably some of the biggest power plants. What are moving airplanes at the moment, aren't they? So I would say, given time, maybe the 225 could go down to a 4 engine rather than going on a 6 engine, because you probably they could probably develop an engine big enough with the thrust of those 3 engines. What are the engine thrusts? The engine thrusts are £51,000 per engine. So I'm not sure what.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, over 300,000 across the board.
Thing is, you take engines off of each side, and you've got a 124. So what you wouldn't need to.
No, but it's not just that. It's the fuselage. It's the cabin. The cargo size as well. Because I think it is just it's a 224, a 124 with a bigger body, isn't it? I think that's what I read about it. They designed it off.
Essentially, that's what it is. It's basically a beefed up version of the 124.
Yeah, of course it is. Yeah.
And it's there basically like it was. It was there 6 engines to help it lift all the cargo that it was needing to be done, like the space stuff and everything else.
Absolutely.
And things like that. We'll pause because we've got a few hellos in there. So we'll go Marco Barrett, who says, "Evening, gents." So hello to
good evening to you, Marco.
Josh Sucks at Aviation says that it flew over his college a few weeks ago, which must have been quite a sight.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Rob Brown Plainspotting says he saw it at Prestwick. We have the video that he's allowed us to share, so we are going to play that very, very shortly.
Fantastic.
Going on to as well saying about the Buran class orbiter, and it still has the mounts fitted on it.
Yeah, it does.
So that's always interesting, especially to kind of be able to look out for that as well when it comes into an airport sort of near you and that. So, also saying good effort on the pronunciation of Mershishchev.
I was talking to him, to be honest.
Well, Mia Shishchev. It's like tapping your heels 3 times and wanting to go home. There's no place like home. Travelino Blog says Wednesdays now. Yes, Wednesdays now. That's our new time that we're doing it.
Yep.
That's what we swapped to now. So we are live on the Wednesday. And then Josh Sucks at Aviation. I still feel bad for reading it like that because it just feels like I'm just saying, it says General Electric engines when we were just talking about the GE9X engine. I think they're GE9X engines.
Yeah,
but
something
yes,
like that, isn't it? Yeah.
they are indeed. But yes. So as we know, there's only one of these Antonov 225s that are in service right now. It's only recently come back into service as of March of last year after being out of service due to I think it was just there for, what was it out of service for? I think it was just there for like maintenance and things like that. I'm fairly certain of it. But somebody will probably let me know as to why. But yeah, so
I dare say with what's been going on, with what's been going on, I suppose the demand for freighting large items around the country is probably diminished a little bit, hasn't it? So it just wasn't required at the moment.
Yes, well, request from Rob Brown Planespotting to say Mia Shishchev one more time. So Mia Shishchev.
Yeah. Kalashnikov.
It's not quite Kalashnikov, but it would do.
So something's niggling it back in my mind saying that an engine problem, one of the engines. I don't know.
I'm not. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Not sure.
Someone's telling me there was an engine problem with it.
Yeah.
I might be wrong.
As we know, or as you can kind of guess, it is based on the earlier Antonov 124, which obviously a lot more of those were built. I think there's about 40 of them built, 40 Antonov 124s. The 225 has extensions added before and after the wing to kind of give it that extra length. And it also had the wings have the extension, like root extensions added to increase the wingspan. Hence why it's such it's a limited aircraft considering where it can go into. Can't really go into your small airfield sort of thing, but major airports and stuff. Even then, it's a bit like the A380. Really, the A380 can only get into certain airports, and this is even more limiting by.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit longer than a 380, isn't it?
Yeah.
I know the wingspan's 290 feet, and I think is it about 10 feet wider than a 380? I don't know. Are they about 280 feet or something?
I believe so. Yeah, I believe something like that, wasn't it? Yeah, something like that.
I did see
go on.
I was going to say I saw a fantastic nugget of information that the chief captain on the Antonov, actually his surname is Antonov, is the thing in the world.
Wow.
It's almost very, very fitting.
Yeah, as of June that was. So hopefully he's the captain. Yeah.
Yeah, it is very fitting that his last name is Antonov, but yeah, it's a real beast of an aircraft.
Yeah.
Just some of the stuff that's carried over the years as well is absolutely like mind-boggling to think that you got things like 747 freighters and things like that, and you'd be sitting there thinking, well, it couldn't ever carry that, but this could, and that's why they put this into good use, was to you may as well make use of an aircraft that big by shipping around huge things, which we'll get onto sort of in a bit. But like Ian was saying, it is heavier than the A380. It's completely outsized, and it's surpassed in any other size-related category. But Airbus claims to have improved upon the Antonov 225's maximum landing weight by landing an A380 at 591.7 tons. So to try and make an A380 a lot heavier than the Antonov 225 is some going.
Yeah.
But yeah, just some of the metrics for the some of the not metrics, just what do you call them?
Statistics.
we'll go statistics. I don't think that's the one I'm thinking of either, but we'll go for it anyway. The pressurized cargo hold is a whopping 1,300 cubic meters. So that's 46,000 cubic feet in volume. Is 6.4 meters wide, 21 feet. 14 feet high and 142 feet 3 inches long, longer than the first flight of the Wright brothers aircraft, which also puts into perspective just how much of an absolute beast this plane is.
Yeah, do you know, on its first ever flight, it broke 103 aviation records, them all off, but
no.
In that first flight, 100 records it broke. So
I've actually got some of the
incredible
achievements sat in front of me. When the time's right, I'll go through a couple. Some of the big
we'll go through some of those
103
as we go. Yeah, all of them.
Yeah, every one of them.
Yeah.
And then what I'll do is I'll go through the Mia Shishchev ones and. But no. So general characteristics, as we mentioned, in terms of length and everything, or in terms of the actual cargo hold itself. But the actual plane itself has a crew of 6 people, has a capacity of 253,800 odd kilograms. It is 275 feet long in length, 290 feet of wingspan, 59 feet of height. And its empty weight is a astonishing 285,000 kilograms, with a maximum takeoff weight of 640,000 kilograms, which is an enormous 1,410,958 pounds. Fuel capacity can hold more than 300,000 kilograms of fuel, and it is powered by 6 Progress D18T turbo fans, each producing a wonderful 51,600 pounds of thrust each. Its cruising speed is 500 miles per hour. Its maximum speed it can reach is 530. Its range is an enormous 15,400 kilometers, which equates to about 8,300 nautical miles, with maximum fuel. It's just an incredible aircraft, and like I say, it's the biggest one it's the biggest plane in the world. You see all these videos on places like Air Clips, and lots of people that have taken it. Like I think Prestwick is quite a popular place that I've seen on YouTube that people have taken videos from. Vienna is another one, and just like Antonov themselves will post videos on Twitter and things like that as to sort of the takeoff bits and things like that. Really just keeping everybody up to date as to where it's going, which I think is also a nice touch, because then you can understand and get an idea for where it's then heading to next.
Yeah, absolutely. You say about the hold and that. It's so the maximum it's ever hold is 253 ton, which smashes every single record out of the park. It's never actually held its full capacity, which is quite an interesting sort of thing to see on there.
Indeed. So what we're playing now is we're playing a video from Rob Brown Plane Spotting, who has allowed us to use this as we play it in the background, just to give you an idea for the absolute size of the aircraft and everything else. So big thank you to Rob Brown for this. But some of the objects that it's carried, we'll go through those now, and we'll sort of we'll go with it and just say we'll go with the world's biggest, the largest, or even longest piece of. We'll go longest. The world's longest piece of air cargo, which was 242.1 meter test wind turbine blades from China, which were delivered to Skidstrup. There we go with my European pronunciations again, in Denmark. So, if you've got an aircraft that big, you may as well carry the biggest things that you can find on it, especially if it can actually carry it.
But I think the actual the blades you're talking about, they were needed, weren't they? And rather than but it's something like a 7 to 14 day journey by road or something. They managed to do it in 12 hours, didn't they? So it pays for itself, doesn't it? When you know they needed those blades for testing, didn't they? Yeah.
They did.
Yeah,
And if I remember correctly, I'm fairly certain that this is the case, but I'm sure somebody will confirm it with me. But any time it takes off, it's got to have about 3 or 4 minutes to actually get the engines up to full power before it can actually then go and take off. I'm fairly certain that's the case. I'm fairly certain it's got to sit on the runway full power for about 3 or 4 minutes to get it right up to full speed, and then it can take off. I'm fairly certain that is the case.
Yeah, it'll need all the thrust it can get, won't it? So I think Rob was saying, weren't he?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, it does the same as the
There's your comment. I've just
124.
seen it. There you go.
Yeah,
So it does the same as the 124 on takeoff. Sits at the end of the runway and runs the engines up for about 4 or 5 minutes. Which
it's
I imagine
pretty much what I do when I'm playing flight sim in my 320. Run
the only problem is that the 225 is actually upright, whereas you're upside down. So
yeah, true enough. Yeah.
But we'll just pause and we'll just have the video play in the background. We've got a couple more hellos in there and everything. So Ian, if you can see the comments, we'll read them from Samuel Taylor Ackroyd.
Oh, right. Yeah. Samuel Taylor Ackroyd says hello. He saw the Antonov 225 at Glasgow Prestwick Airport back on August the 7th in 2020, and what an amazing day! And I bet it was as well. I think this was this was the same day, I would imagine. Up at Prestwick Airport, and I mean, going off that footage, it must have been fantastic to see. Because you're not that far away from it either, are you?
Steve has just left us. He has just left us, so
he'll be back, won't he? Ross Kennedy, he missed the AN225 at Prestwick with a broken shoulder. Hopefully, it comes back soon. P.S. Hope you are good, Tom.
Thank you for the kind words. I'm doing as well as I can. I'm trying to get through this without breaking down emotionally. But yes, doing well so far. Doing well so far. But yeah, I'm fortunate to miss the 225 because of a broken shoulder. I think if I had a broken shoulder, I'd hobble my way there anyway. But
I think I would have made my way there somehow. Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
absolutely. And then obviously the last one there from Samuel Taylor Ackroyd, saying that he was at Moncton at Prestwick to film it. So very good. If anybody has any videos or photos, like I said, of the Antonov 225 that they want to be able to show, excuse me. If anyone's got any photos, videos, etc., that they want us to show, I'm doing it the wrong way. There you go, that way, right there. Want to show us there? I say send it to us on our social medias, and we will get them played out to the world.
Yeah.
Interestingly.
Yeah. Well, before that, I was just going to mention with the tail of it. It was originally going to have the 124 tail, weren't it? But they had to redesign it and put this tail piece on, this section on, just because of the roof cargo would have interfered with the flying surfaces, wouldn't it? Our reading. So yeah. It's an absolutely fantastic piece of kit. It really is.
It really is, isn't it?
Yeah,
it is amazing. But we'll just pause, take a pause for the cause. I've not used that for years, but I'm going to do that anyway.
There's a cargo look 747. That was a bonus as well, weren't it?
Yes. It's astonishing. I mean, honestly, I'd love to see it. I would love to see it, and I'm gutted I haven't done so far. But yeah, thank you to Rob Brown Planespotting for that, allowing us to use the video.
Yeah, it's a good piece of video. That really is.
Really good capture. Really good.
Yeah.
Obviously, those listening on Spotify won't see this, but yeah, it's it's a cracking little video that, and we'll get some more out as and when they come. There we go. Don't know where Steve is, so it's just us.
It's looking like it. And I think he sent a message saying that his computer's thrown a wobbler. So
that's what he gets for mocking the Cornish the other week. I told him not to. I did say to him not to mock the Cornish in the internet because it will come back to bite you, and ultimately that's what it's done. So if you want to just go on a bit more with the Antonov 225 just while I get another video.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I'm just sending that message there to stay. Yeah, I'll just run through a couple of its achievements over the years. I've got a few jotted down here. I just have to put my bins on. Oh no, I'll be all right actually. In 2001, an AN225 Maria transported 5 T-72 main battle tanks with a total weight of 253.8 tons. During the flight, the pilot in command, I won't pronounce his name, and his crew, they actually set 214 national records and 124 world records, including 253.8 ton payload uplifted to an altitude of 10,570 meters and achieved a speed. I mean, this is off the Antonov website. It says at 763 miles an hour with a payload of 253.8 tons over a 1,000 kilometer route. One of the design engineers of the AN225 recalled the flight was operated during warm season, and normally no one ever tries to beat payload records during this time, but the aircraft managed to beat it. So it's just, you know, they can really, when they must have really pushed it to get to them kinds of figures. But it's absolutely built like a tank, isn't it? It really, really is.
It's very different because you've got, as you can see on the video there from Samuel Taylor Ackroyd. So thank you to you for sending that to us as we play it in the background there.
Yeah.
Obviously, the front landing gear is 2 on either side, as opposed to 1, which is what there would be.
Yeah.
Steve has rejoined us. For how long though, I don't know. But he has rejoined us. I mean, points for anybody that might be able to tell us just how many like main landing gear wheels it has.
38.
We'll throw it out there. We'll throw it out there.
Oh, I think I've just.
Yeah, I think Ian's just given the number away.
Yeah,
so
I think
that's the end of that game.
Yeah. I might be wrong. It might be less. It might be 36.
Oh, cheers, pal.
Yeah, it's all right. It's got a lot.
But no, it's all right. But yeah, it's a really, you know, I mean, you can just see in this video itself just how big a draw it is to like just for people to you know, go out and see it. It's like one of those once in a lifetime things and little events, isn't it?
Definitely. Was it Bryce Norton? Sorry, Steve. Go on.
No, I was going to say they get treated like celebrities. I saw a video earlier on, and they were like those feather boas over the captains, and like everyone was treating them like sort of absolute heroes when they were showing up in them. Well, the video there showed it.
Yeah, you can see it in background there, can't you? Of Sam's video there, you can see the amount of people who have gone out to watch it that particular day, and yeah, I think it's one of them. Well, you don't see it often, so you'd never get bored of watching it. I think it were at was it Bryce Norton when it dropped those helicopters off not long ago, where it blew the fence over.
Yeah, it did. It took the fence out. Yeah,
it took the fence out. Yeah. That would have been pretty awesome, wouldn't it?
It's
as long as you weren't stood
honestly,
behind
like,
it.
I mean,
Yeah.
It's crazy to kind of think that, like, say, I mean, we sit here and, you know, people that live by Heathrow Airport, Manchester Airport, that see the A380 come in, especially for Heathrow at least. You know, Heathrow on a regular basis before everything happened. You know, they were coming on a regular basis, and it's normal. You know, it's normal. It's not as big a draw now as it used to be, because they're part of the furniture sort of thing. But considering this has been around for a long time and there's only one of them, as opposed to, you know, like everything else, it's astonishing to think. I mean, you can see there, look, with the front wheels, that, you know, you need those wheels for support, and it's for that thing to go over, you do notice it.
Absolutely, yeah. It's got the same front landing gear as the 124, hasn't it?
Yeah. What we'll do, just very quickly, is we will bring Samuel Taylor Ackroyd into the show, whose video we are watching right now.
There we go.
So, Sam, good evening to you. How are you?
Good evening, everyone. I'm very well, thank you. How are you doing?
Yes, not too bad. Not
I'm
too
good,
bad.
Sam, thank you.
Yeah, not too bad. Just tell us about this video that you've shared with us, and sort of what it was like to see the 225 on that day.
Well, for me, it was actually a bit short notice compared to a lot of others. And I'm going to be completely honest. This might shock a lot of you. I actually didn't know what the Antonov 225 was until probably, I would say, around a week or two before I actually came to Prestwick. Oh, sorry. Hold on. Sorry about that.
Sorry.
But as I was saying, I then went to tell my dad about it, and I asked him if he could take me, and I told him it was the biggest aircraft in the world. He agreed to take me. He drove me there, which is how I was able to make the video which is being displayed just now. And I brought my camcorder with me, and I filmed my video, which is, at the time that this live stream is happening, is my most popular video on my channel, and I'm really proud of it. And the day was absolutely incredible. As I said in the live chat, it was just amazing. And yeah, this is probably like a once in a lifetime opportunity, but even if it is once in a lifetime, I'm lucky to have been able to actually see the 225, and I'm very grateful for it. And I think I've probably accomplished what is probably every aviation enthusiast's main goal.
Absolutely. I mean, like I say, I haven't seen it. Ian's only seen it going over the top of him with over the top sort of thing. Steve hasn't seen it, and obviously it is very common to go up to sort of Prestwick and stuff. So the video was fantastic. I think we'll put that out there. Even the likes of Ross Kennedy saying what a great experience, Sam.
Absolutely, yeah, definitely.
So I imagine it's definitely one of those ones that will sort of stick with you sort of forever, really, once you've seen it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Fantastic. But it was a really good video. Slightly jealous, won't lie. But no, it's a really, really good video. So thank you for sharing that with us.
Of course, and thank you for sharing it.
Not a problem at all. Thank you very much for that.
Of course.
It's the thing is with the 225, it's one of those ones where, like Ian was saying, like he was going through the records and stuff just before. The amount of records that it has broken is astonishing.
Definitely, yeah. And I don't think there's anything like it. No, never mind. There isn't anything like it.
And there probably never will be again. That's the thing.
Even with
absolutely.
the ongoing generations.
Yeah, definitely one of those sort of, like I said, once in a lifetime aircraft that, if you miss it, and then it's like, I'm interested to know what they'll do with it once they do eventually retire it. Which,
we'll have to keep up with that, but yeah, that'll be a rather interesting topic.
Yes, it'd be interesting to keep an eye on it and just see what they do. Hopefully, it won't be for a lot longer yet, because I still want to see it.
I'm sure. Antonov. Sorry, Sam. Go on. Yeah, I'm sure. I read somewhere that Antonov we're planning on keeping it for at least next 30 years.
I'd be surprised, because if it was another 30 years, that would make it about 62 years old by the time it retires, because it's about 32 or probably 33, something like that, years old.
Yeah, I mean, considering you got B-52s that are going to be retired when they're about 90.
Yeah, that's right. I was about to mention them. Yeah.
It's
crazy.
It is crazy, but also not unheard of at this point. So
it's good they've adapted it. It's good they've adapted to do a job it was actually built for. Like, obviously it was built for stuff, and they've sort of decided to adapt it for this and to keep it going longer for everyone, which is decent. Like you say, it's the only aircraft in the world that can carry such massive payloads to far away places. It gives accessibility to communities who wouldn't have the ability to get these things. So it's serving a good purpose right across the world still.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. Coming onto the screen shortly is another one of Marco Barrett's wonderful drawings. I'm just going to try and find it. 2 seconds. There it is. There it is. 2 seconds. And here we go. So, as we know, he likes to draw lots of things, and he's drawn wrong finger. There we go, that way. The Antonov 225, this was, he actually sent it to me ages and ages ago, and I have kept it, but it just shows that anything can be drawn as well at the same time, and it is a fantastic drawing.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
That's probably one of the best drawings I've ever seen. That's incredible.
He's very good at what he does in terms of his drawings and stuff. I'm half tempted to get him back on just to show them off again, but they are fantastic. They're incredible drawings. Like, I don't think he's got any limitations and things like that, but he's very good at what he does, and it's shows it off nicely. And seeing as we're talking about the Antonov itself, the livery that it shows, which is the blue and yellow, which obviously is the colors for the Ukrainian flag, is more of a recent thing, which a lot of people seem to think that it's been around in that color scheme for a long time, but it only came about in, I think, 2011.
Yeah, it was sort of, without plot spoiling, it was sort of white and red, wasn't it, beforehand?
Yeah. 2011 it came into that sort of thing, because there was a contract with Luton Airport, I think, that then came up, and then they decided to repaint it, from what I can sort of remember.
Yeah, I've got
the older livery. Yeah, I think it was like red and white, something like that. In fact, I recently got a poster from my dad that should be hung up on my wall. I don't know if it's been put back up yet because it fell off my wall after I came back to my mum's, but it was in the old livery, which is really cool. And now I've got a picture of piece of even bigger history, aviation history.
Just trying to get on there. Yeah.
I'm just trying to send you a picture now, Tom. I'll send you a chat. I've got
the
a picture
original,
in front of me.
The original livery obviously reflected the Soviet Union colours. That's obviously why, because it was the Soviet Union's project, wasn't it? That's why it would have reflected it in the red and white.
Yeah, there was something to do with I'm fairly certain there was something to do with a contract that it had. I'm just trying to remember whereabouts I saw it. I'm just trying to find the article that I read. Talk amongst yourselves whilst I find it.
I've just sent you a picture of the with the one with the shuttle on the back with the old livery. If you can do anything with it.
Oh no, do you know I can't find it? What have I done with it?
But yeah, considering it was newer, it looked more dated in the original photos than it does now. Like, the aircraft was obviously new, but they've managed to make it look quite sort of old in those photos. Like, there's nothing overly fancy about it.
No, it was built as a workhorse, weren't it? It wasn't built for anything. And the Soviets back in them days, when they first built it, they I don't think they really cared too much about fancy liveries or anything like that, did they? And they just built this big workhorse to do a job, and that's what it did, didn't it? So there were no airs and graces with it, were there?
No, I can't. Find it.
They were quite sort of competitive with the Americans to crack on with sort of space age, weren't they? That's for sure. And I know reading up, the Americans were actually using 747s adapted to fly their sort of space stuff around, as well as using rail and sea. Yeah, they adapted 747 photos with the shuttles on top of those, which look really interesting.
Yeah, definitely. Still not as nice as that. Don't mind me saying.
Do you know, I cannot for the life of me find this. God darn.
But what was it about, Tom? What was the article about?
So the reason they went into cargo with it is because there was a particular. Do you know what? I've got it. I've just seen it.
Oh.
So late 80s, the Soviet government was looking for a way to generate revenue from its military assets. So in 1989, the Antonov Design Bureau set up a holding company as a heavy airlift shipping corporation under the name of Antonov Airlines, which is obviously what it operates with, based in Kiev, Ukraine, and operating from London Luton Airport in partnership with Airfoil Heavy Lift. That was what I was trying to work out, and that's what I was trying to figure. Hence why it had the red line and everything else like that, because it was to do with the partnership between Airfoil and Antonov. So the company began operations with a fleet of 4 Antonov 124s and 3 Antonov 12s. But the need for an aircraft larger than the Antonov 124 became apparent, and that's where the Antonov 225, the original one, was re-engined. So I don't think these are the original engines on them either.
Okay, that's interesting.
And it's obviously modified for heavy cargo transport and placed back into service under Antonov Airlines, which is what we know now. In 2001, well, May 2001, the Antonov 225 received its type certificate from the Interstate Aviation Committee Aviation Register. Try saying that after a mouthful. And on September 11th, 2001, carrying 4 main battle tanks at a record load of 253.82 tons, the Antonov flew up to an altitude of 35,200 feet over a closed circuit of 620 miles at a speed of 474 miles. Apparently, without obviously looking at your notes and stuff, do you know what the hire cost is for one of these planes?
Tell us.
Oh, I don't know. I mean,
don't look at your notes. That's cheating.
I'm not looking.
Don't look at your notes. It's cheating. It's not the point.
I'm basing it on Enterprise at like 30 quid a day.
Can't put a number on it, but I guess it's a lot. Okay, so if you wanted to hire,
I know they flew stuff out.
No, I was going to say if you wanted to hire the Antonov 225 for whatever reason, you would have to shell out a whopping $30,000 an hour.
Flipping heck.
Yeah, so $30,000 an hour for hiring the Antonov 225. It attracts such a high degree of public interest that it's managed to obtain a global following due to its size and uniqueness. People frequently visit airports to see its scheduled arrivals and departures, such as in Perth, Australia, when a record crowd of 15,000 people gathered at Perth Airport.
God.
That's insane.
Can you imagine trying to get a good spot in 15,000 people?
Probably the hardest time to actually find a spot.
It's just,
it's insane, isn't it?
Is that the record for just the 225, or is that for pretty much?
I think for the airport.
In the aviation industry.
I think probably for the airport itself. I think for the airport to have that many people that gathered up. Do you remember? It's like when Concorde retired. We spoke about this. I can't remember now. We spoke about it.
Last Sunday, wasn't it? I think
last week, wasn't it? Last week, I think it was.
Yeah.
And the the amount of people that gathered for Concorde then would not have been anywhere near like 15,000 odd people that Perth had. So
I know Rob's saying there between 7,000 and 10,000 people at Prestwick last August. That's a good turnout, isn't it?
Well, Sam was one of them.
Yeah.
Wait, how many did you say? 7 to 10,000?
7 to 10,000, yeah.
7 to 10,000 people at Prestwick last August when you were there.
Well, I zoomed in
on
you're probably a few thousand of them. Yeah. But I mean, I didn't zoom in on the people at the mound where it was probably, I don't know if it was more busy than where the train station for the airport is, which is where I zoomed in on.
Yeah,
but,
it's always going to, like I say, it's always
going
to
have to ask Rob that because he was at the mound, as you probably saw from his video, while I was at Moncton.
Yeah, I think every single available space would have been taken up, wouldn't it, right around the airport? Yeah, and even on the approach into the airport, I would imagine. Yeah. Definitely.
Well, I was lucky enough to be able to find a good spot at
definitely got a good spot
Moncton,
there,
which was my only my second time going to Prestwick Airport, actually. I mean, if that was my first, then if anything, it may have been even more special. But, you know, what am I saying? It's the 225, so it's special one way or another.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. You've got a cracking video of it to keep.
Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah. Very proud of it as well. And when, a lot of my family members saw it, they were just amazed. And I think my grandmother as well, I think she said that when I went to go visit her, when she saw my video and she saw it lifting off, I think she said that, I can't fully remember what she was saying, but let me tell you, she was just insanely shocked. Even though that's just from a video, and of course it's not like going to see it in real life. And as my dad says, it's like watching a city on wheels.
Yeah,
it's massive, isn't it?
Yeah, colossal.
And that's just, it's insane how the AN225 can get off the ground. But as you were talking about earlier, with how long it has to be at full power while stopped at the threshold of the runway, so that way it can get off the ground easier and sooner.
It is fascinating. What's the? I mean, obviously we didn't see it in your video, but I imagine you would have heard it powering up for 4 to 5 minutes in order to get the engines warm. So what was that? What would that have been like to sort of hear the sort of the power and it not moving sort of thing? Was it quite loud?
To be honest, I mean, since it was all the way on the it was on all the way on the other side of the runway from where Moncton was, because it wasn't using runway 12, it was using runway 30, and to be honest, I couldn't even tell it was even powering up. I'm not gonna lie, I really couldn't tell.
So it must have been sort of quite quiet from the sort of the position that it was in anyway, like sort of the opposite end of the runway sort of thing.
Well, it will be if you're on the opposite side of the runway, in which which was the case for me. But you'd probably have to ask my friend Robert about that, because I mean, you would have seen it in his video if you watched it outside the stream. But I haven't really checked it out myself. But I really couldn't tell you if it was throttling up or not.
Yeah.
I think it's same with any plane. I mean, you experience that even when you're at Manchester. If you stood in a certain position, you don't get the full benefit of the noise what some of these engines can produce. I think you have to be stood in the right place. And I think, like you were saying, Sam, if it's that far away from you, even with winds and things like that, even the wind can prevent the noise, can't it?
Yeah, definitely. Even with the 6 engines that it's powered by, the wind can still it can overpower the noise coming from the engines, especially if, like me, if you're far away enough.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. I agree with that. Yeah.
Just like in the video shown here, how far away it is.
Yeah, and I think there was a cargo lux taxiing out as well at the same time. 747.
And for people like Robert who are making their videos, the Cargolux 747, which was the regular routine Sunday service from Seattle to Prestwick to Luxembourg.
Yeah.
That's probably, I wonder how many people were unhappy with that. Like the 747, which is probably so many people or so many aviation enthusiasts' favorite aircraft, and it's video bombing their shot of the 225. That has to be really frustrating, and I'm really glad I went to Moncton.
Yeah, I bet they were wounded.
Yeah, you could still see it
rotating
slowly, and then you could still see it lifting up. So it didn't ruin it too much, but I'd be frustrated.
Yeah, definitely.
So I'll just say quickly,
must have been incredible to witness it live.
You know, I think Steve's really delayed.
Yeah, he is, isn't it?
So you're in there out. What's the matter with you? Told you should not have insulted the Cornish. Now we're coming out to get you.
Serves him right.
Yeah. I'll take you off screen while you sort it out. But Rob Brown Planespotting says it runs through various power settings. It's something to do with maintaining and stabilizing the oil pressure in the engines, which it makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So it's all.
As long as you don't get too technical, it's understandable. But I mean, hey, you have to do what you have to do with the aircraft to get it running properly, even if it's complicated.
I think. I mean, they've got 7 crew on board or something, trying to get it up into the air. It's the kind of plane where you get one chance, don't you? And it's got to be done right first time. With something like that, you can't make a mistake when you're putting that thing in the air, can you? There's no, you know what I mean? I mean, where's like your V1 and your V2 on it and things like that, you can't slam your brakes on, can you, and pull up at end of runway and that thing. Definitely.
I think your mic is cutting out a bit.
Right. Oh, is it? I think we're having internet problems, aren't we?
No, I think it's probably the friction against something.
I'm getting some feedback from somewhere.
It'll be fine. We'll carry it on anyway.
Yeah, I think I get some looping or something. Definitely. Oh, it's not coming from you. You
Something
do
wrong with
video, is it?
I don't know if it's nice.
No.
Oh.
Maybe
Maybe it was Sam.
well, yeah,
But we thank him anyway. We thank him anyway for joining.
Absolutely,
This is
nice
the Antonov 225 taken off from Zurich, which is just, I want to see it.
Huh.
Can't play the noise because of potential copyrighty stuff, but yeah.
Yeah, it's fair enough.
Oh, it's astonishing. Look at it.
Mm.
Very, very jealous. Right, we'll get Steve back on, shall we? Because I can see what he's doing.
I can gesture and annoying Steve. Yeah.
Right, you sorted it. You all good now?
Yeah, I've changed my where the Wi-Fi's come from, so
Yeah.
hopefully it's good.
Yeah, that's
If you start delaying again, I'm going to take you back out again.
Yeah,
right.
fine.
Yeah, that's me sorted out. I don't know if it was a problem at my end with the audio or if it was the stream and I had to leave or something, because it pretty much fixed itself after joining back.
That's fine.
It sounds all right. Yeah.
Yeah, so we're all good.
I think Steve's tapped into next door's Wi-Fi, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably won't be any better.
Yeah. But I tell you, next time you arrange the trip down here, we're going to be all here with like pitchforks and everything, and just we're going to try and get you not to come down here.
I ain't ever coming back.
Yeah, my car Wi-Fi, won't you? My car darn Wi-Fi, will you? I tell you, I teach you lesson.
Well, guys, I just want to say
Your economy.
I think I've pretty much done my time on this stream. I've told my story, and it's been a pleasure being a part of another one of your streams, and I hope to be back on in the future. So I'm going to head off now and have a good rest of the stream.
Nice one, Sam. Thank you very much.
Cheers, Sam. Thanks very much, mate.
Take it
Thanks
easy.
for having me on.
No problem.
No problem.
Have a
Cheers.
good night.
Take it easy.
Sure.
Bye.
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 Wonderful. I like when we get spontaneous guests on.
Yeah, he's a good lad, Sam.
This is why I'm just like, Joe, let's just we do this. I think what we should do, like one day, is like just have like a stream going, and then just anybody that wants to join, I don't care who it is, just join in.
Yeah, drop in like a afternoon tea party.
Drop in like an afternoon tea thing. Yeah, just have a little sip and then just like forgive the pinky finger. I don't know why I did that, but yeah. But yeah, that's what we should do. That Ryan Beaumont, who said hello earlier, says a whole Antonov 225 carrying tons of yoga pants.
Yeah, that's a lot of yoga pants. That.
Oh, think of the amount of chuck you could get.
I'm just thinking of all the yoga pants. They probably do actually. A humanitarian drop to Preston Pre-Mark with all them.
I'm not going to say what I was about to say. Really not. But no. Yeah, even Lego, Rob Brown, Lego, or
That's
chutney.
it, chutney. You get a lot of chutney in a 225.
I imagine quite a few kilos of chutney would be on board. But
Yeah.
but no. So sort of for the future, I mean, I know Ian said that he reckons that the second one will be built. Steve, do you reckon the
I've not
second
been
one
wrong
will be
yet.
built?
I don't think it will be. Personally, I think like it's quite a niche aircraft. I don't know they potentially need two of them, and sort of the way aircraft go in the moment, they're sort of sufficient as they are. But I hope I'm wrong. It would be nice if there is two of them, but I don't see it at the moment myself.
Yeah, I'm inclined to say I don't think. I mean, I want to say I want to be shocked. I want to say yes. I want to say absolutely do it. Fulfill the need to have a second one. But then I'm like, will it lose the mystique of the fact that there is only one? If you were to have more than one, I mean, they're not going to build any more than one. They'll just have, well, they'll have two if anything. But I don't think it will have. I don't think it will. I think that hole will probably be that. And I imagine what will happen is if they just finally decide, actually, no, we're not going to do it. We're going to put it away for museum purposes or something like that, or find a home for it so that people can. It's like when they the places like is it Cranfield, I think it is, where they have like a 737 there that the students use to familiarize themselves with the engineering side of things. So part of me thinks they might do it for that, but at the same time, I mean, I'd like to see a second one, and maybe just like re-engine it again, sort of thing. Because I don't think for the next however long it is, I think you said like 30 years or something.
About that.
Yeah.
I don't think for the next 30 odd years they'll have the same engines. It's like with the B-52s. Eventually, they're going to re-engine them because they want to keep them sustainable for future sort of thing, future purposes. So I imagine they'll probably re-engine it, but I can't see a second one being built.
Well, yeah, like the cockpit and that's screaming up for modernization, isn't it already? So maybe they'll build a more modern version.
Yeah, it costs like 300 million, like to complete what the second one already.
I can't see him doing anything with the cockpit. I can't see him doing anything with that now. I just think it's going to be left, and it's just going to be like you said, Tom. They'll probably re-engine it, and they'll keep on top of the maintenance. But I can't see them going to glass cockpits or anything like that with it, because they're not going to spend all that money just to fit out one aircraft, are they? It just wouldn't be cost effective at all, would it? It's probably cheaper just to employ the seven crew, what it takes to fly the thing, to be quite honest. And even when you were saying about the 737 for engineering, for students and what have you, I don't think there's another plane on the planet apart from the 124s which probably would get a more modern cockpit, because there's more of them, and they'll probably keep building them. But there's just never, unless they do build a new one, there will never be another 225, and there is no point in trying to teach anybody how to mend it, because if they're never going to fly it again, they're never going to need to, are they?
No.
So it's going to be a shame. It really is.
No.
Although they have said, I was going to say if they did rebuild it, if they built this new 225, they would be able to build it with an extra weight capacity as well to make it carry even heavier goods. So it's got potential.
Depends if the demand is there, I think.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think it would probably lose its mystique. That's what I think. But at the same time, as well, is the cost of running one as well. So that will probably also play a big part in why it's so expensive to hire out, because then it will cover the sort of the running price of it, maybe, or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Rob Brown Planes says the problem is every flying hour I'm go words again. Problem is, for every flying hour, the on-ground maintenance hours become greater and greater.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
there's also one of those as well. In terms of what we think might happen with the the 225 when it eventually retires out of the skies, which I think will be one of those days where it is quite a sad one, especially if you haven't seen it, because I think it's a real Concorde moment where it's like, it is unique, it's different, it draws a crowd. You're not going to see it in places like Heathrow, because places like the taxiways and stuff are too close, so you're going to see it at like Manchester's and like Prestwicks and things like that. So I think it will probably be a sad day. Do you think they'll just scrap it, or do you think they'll store it if they retire it?
I think it'll end up a museum piece, won't it? I would imagine it'll fly back to Ukraine and be rested in Ukraine, and it'll be a permanent reminder. Probably take it back to the Antonov Design Bureau, facility somewhere, and just
the test airfield sort of thing.
Yeah. Use it as a museum piece.
Yeah.
I think they'd have to.
It'd be an outrage.
Absolutely, yeah. I totally agree with you.
I'm trying so hard right now not to itch these tattoos. I swear, they're getting so itchy.
I'm trying to get really hard. Won't be a minute.
No problem.
But it'd be devastating if they didn't retire direct to a suitable home, and they just broke it up. So you'd like to think they put it into a museum. That's for sure.
Yeah, I would think so. I would like to think that they would put it as a museum piece. Here's what because the thing is, like we said at the beginning, it was purposely built to be a space program aircraft, and obviously now it's been turned into a freighter. So I'd like to think it'd go back to that. I think it'd like to go back to kind of somewhere where they can store it and go, look, this is what it started out as. This is where it should have been, and this is obviously ultimately what we've then done with it.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Like, yeah, sort of show through ages what we've seen and what it should have been, and then they can decide what they how they sort of mock it up at the end of the museum, whether they put like a space shuttle on top of it or not. But it'd be an interesting visit if I don't get to see it sort of in person. Well, 30 years. Yeah, I was just to make that.
Yeah, I'm hoping it's I'm hoping they sort of extend it a bit longer than the 30 odd years. So yes, that's one to keep an eye on, but not for another few odd years anyway. So that should be fine. But yeah, other than that, we'll just quickly run through some of the stuff that it has carried. With the sort of, I had the list and I've now lost it because I'm an idiot. There we go. Right, so the type's first flight in commercial service departed from Stuttgart in 2002 and flew to, I can't say that. I'm going to say thumb rate in Oman with 216,000 prepared meals for American military personnel based in the region. This vast number of ready meals was transported on 375 pallets and weighed 187.5 tons.
There's your cheese and chutney.
That's a lot of food.
It's about what I've gone from
a lot of food
recently.
Yeah, definitely a lot of food. Some other sort of things. So the Antonov 225 has since become the workhorse of the Antonov Airlines fleet, transporting objects once thought impossible to move by air, such as 150-ton generators. It has become an asset to international relief organizations in its ability to quickly transport huge quantities of emergency supplies during disaster relief operations. So some of the other little bits and bobs that it's flown, the Antonov 225 has been contracted by the Canadian and US governments to transport military supplies to the Middle East in support of coalition forces. An example of the cost of shipping cargo by Antonov 225 was over 2 million kroner, so Danish kroner, for flying a chimney duct out of Billund in Denmark to Kazakhstan in 2004. So 2 million Danish kroner is about 266,000 euros.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of money really to try and use it. On August 11th, 2009, the heaviest single cargo item ever sent by air freight was loaded onto the Antonov 225 at 53 feet and 3 inches long, 14 feet wide. Its consignment, the generator for a gas power plant in Armenia, along with its loading frame, weighed in at a record 189 tons, which is 417,000 pounds. And I think that is still the record now. And that was, 12 years ago. So the aircraft is definitely, one of those amazing sort of feats of engineering to carry something like that as well.
Incredible how obviously that's a USP, isn't it? That you can put such big items for flying purposes.
Yeah, so it just goes to show that it's got the capabilities of being able to pretty much take anything into the air as long as it's sort of enough for the aircraft to carry. The paint scheme that we were talking about was actually painted in 2009 after the the cooperation with Airfoil Heavy Lift ceased, and they then partnered up with Volga Dnepr in 2006. So 2009 was when the aircraft was painted into its current livery. On June 11th, 2010, as we mentioned earlier, the Antonov 225 carried the world's longest piece of air cargo, which was 242.1 meter, which is 138 feet, test wind turbine air blades from Tianjin in China to Skidstrup, because everyone loves my European pronunciations, in Denmark. The Antonov 225 also participated in the COVID-19 pandemic. I've just said the word, I don't care at this point. COVID-19 pandemic relief effort, conducting flights to deliver medical supplies from China to other parts of the world. And of course, just for Rob Brown plane spotting, it was the replacement to the Mir Shishchev aircraft. So there you go.
Hey, you're just showing off, aren't you?
I'm totally showing off with Mir Shishchev. In fact, that will probably be my nickname for next week.
Yeah.
Just the Mir Shishchev man. But yeah. It's just absolutely incredible. And this line here is right. Bowman said the aircraft is powerful and large enough to handle William Shatner's ego. Fantastic. I like that. I like that a lot. Rob Brown Plane Spotting says that car parts to Shannon, Iron Drone missile defense trucks to Israel, just some of the things that it's carried as well. So it's definitely an aircraft that gets about.
Absolutely. And in 2012, it became the highest altitude art exhibition ever organised on board the aircraft, which reached a height of 10,150 metres, which is 33,000 feet above sea level. So that's another one of its achievements. The highest art gallery. Fun fact.
Yeah.
Seen a few high people in the art gallery, but never the highest art gallery.
Yeah, the highest art gallery.
Fantastic. I think we're going to sort of close up the first show of the Wednesday night era, as I like to call it. With that, it's been an interesting look into the background, the history, the reason why the Antonov 225 even exists in the first place. It's been, at least for me, emotional, not because of the aircraft or anything, but for my own personal reasons, which I'll get onto shortly when we do the shout outs and everything. But I think it's been quite interesting, and I think we're going to take a closer look into Eastern European aviation a little bit further. I think that would be quite an interesting little thing to do, especially with the Mir Shishchev. I think we should do that first.
You can do other pronunciations then.
Everything to I can happily sit there and pronounce them all. Yeah, it's not a problem.
We just have to just point to you every time you want it.
Yeah, Mir Shishchev.
I'll just call it.
It's probably going to be my favorite word now. I'm going to keep saying it everywhere. It's like, have you got that thing? Yeah, Mir Shishchev.
Hit your hand with a hammer tomorrow at work. You can use it as a like an expletive. It'll be good. Multi-purpose word.
I'll just be like, I'm just going to go do some deliveries in my Mir Shishchev. I don't know what kind of life are we living right now, but no, it's been an interesting look back actually at the Antonov 225. We're going to probably dive into a little bit more Eastern European aviation. I think it'd be really good to kind of go into that. So we'll definitely go into that. So we'll do some shout outs as we begin to wrap up this evening show, because we've been going for an hour and 24 minutes now. So I just want to sort of say thank you to everybody that's been watching for the going up to 3, 2, 1 hour and 25 minutes that we have been here. Hopefully Wednesday nights are a little bit easier for everybody. We kind of want to take our feet off the gas a little bit. With the whole thing, we want to be serious. We don't want to be too serious, because we are here to kind of have a little bit of fun at the same time. So hopefully it's been enjoyable. We're going to start to wrap everything up now. So this is part of the show where we do some shout outs. So if anybody has any shout outs for anyone, it could be family, friends, it could be girlfriend, boyfriends, although No, it could be anybody, literally anybody. Like shout them out in the comments, and we will bring them up onto the screen as we go on. But we'll start off with some shout outs, and as soon as we don't have Sam around, we'll go with you, Steve.
Yeah, well, I'll send it back to you to do it first because I'd like to sort of add on to what you're going to say.
Please don't make me do it.
Okay. Okay. Well, I only sort of watch from the start. Tom had some difficult news this week, and I'd just like to send my love and thoughts out to the chap's family and friend, and obviously Tom himself because he's going through a difficult time, and what have you, and Ian as ever, just for being a good friend to Tom and myself, and I do appreciate it a lot.
Yeah, too late. I'm already going.
No, that's fine.
Yeah, it's been tricky. I just want to bring it up on the screen one more time because I think it's necessary. So I just want to bring it up on the screen. It's difficult, but you know, he wouldn't have want me to kind of just fucking bawl my eyes out. Excuse my language. So it is difficult, but you know, the amount of people that have sent me like messages and stuff, it's and I've been there. It's overwhelming, and it's I can't carry on saying anymore because I'll end up crying even more. So over to you, Ian.
Yeah. Pretty much just to reiterate what Steve said as well. Condolences to the guy's family and to all his friends and to yourself as well, Tom. That you've been going through it yourself over the last few weeks and what have you. And to have news like this, it just it's an absolute. You just I don't know what to say, to be honest. But we're going back onto the show again. I think we're sort of going off on a tangent there, aren't we, sort of thing. But just thanks to everyone who's joined in tonight, who's commented for an interesting show. It was really interesting doing the research rather on the 225, and as much as we just see it as it all in all, it's a cargo plane, and it does all the dirty lifting for some of these massive pieces of equipment, and God knows what gets flown around the world. But that aside, to look at all the things what it does besides that, where it's breaking all these records and it's having art galleries in the sky, and just to see the other side of the 225, the not the dirty side of the 225, it's quite interesting, and it shows that I think Antonov Design Bureau, who actually fly this plane, it must have a special place in their heart as well, and rather than being just a big lump of cargo plane, it's a massive endorsement for that kind of engineering, for the Ukrainian and the Soviet style engineering, and I just think it's an absolute fantastic piece of equipment, and I don't think that Antonov want to see it go either. I think Antonov want to keep it there, even if I think it'd be the kind of plane, but they could probably run at a loss, and they'd still have it just because of its prestige. I mean, nobody runs down road to see a 124 or a 22 or whatever. They only run down road to see this 225. So I think not just from a spotters and an enthusiast point of view, but from Antonov Design Bureau's point of view as well. I think that they want to see that thing in the air, promoting their business and and being a massive endorsement for Ukrainian and Soviet / Russian engineering, and why not? It's an amazing piece.
Well, yeah,
it turns heads everywhere.
Yeah, absolutely synonymous with their company, isn't it? The
Absolutely, yeah.
225. That's they can't get rid of the legacy that quickly.
No, definitely
it will obviously be there for the ages, like the sun, but yeah, but they'd be daft to get shot of it just yet. That's for sure.
Yeah, of course they would. Yeah, it's more than just a cargo plane to Antonov. It's a lot more than a cargo plane. That. But anyway, yeah. So that's that. And like I say, thanks very much everybody for listening in tonight. And I hope you enjoyed it. Our first Wednesday show, guys, done and dusted. So casual. I've got my joggers on and my t-shirt on. I haven't, or I haven't got my joggers on. There's a question.
Yeah, I'm naked from the waist down. It's fine.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's got to be done.
Absolutely perfectly timed.
Got to be done.
Yeah.
It's got to be done. But oh boy, I will try and do this in one piece because it is like massively difficult. But firstly, I want to say thank you to everyone that's been watching this evening. I had hoped and vowed not to cry because I will probably get turned into a meme. And at this point, I don't care. It's tricky, but I had ummed and ahed about it as to whether to go ahead, and I thought, wow, this is kind of what he would have wanted. Like I said, I said to both Ian and Steve before coming onto the show, I can feel myself going again. He was a background listener, so he listened in the background. A secret listener that I only knew that's what he was. Literally about maybe a couple of weeks ago, he picked up on the fact that this is what I do. He knows that this is what I've been doing for a long time in terms of my love of aviation and things like that. It's just difficult, but this is literally like raw emotion. And it sucks. So I don't want to fucking... do you know what? I don't care about swearing anymore. I don't want to fucking do this for like the entire evening. So a big thank you to everybody that watched.
Do you know, I did just chirping in, like, well done, Tom. It would have been easy for you not to have put on a show tonight. So the fact you've done it for the people at home is incredible testament to you. So, like just massive well done to you on that.
Definitely.
Like, I'm fortunate I've not had to go through it, so I can't understand what it's like. But yeah, so I wouldn't want to put myself in front of a camera tonight. So, like, massive well done to you. He'll be proud of you watching for sure.
Thank you. I hope so. But he watched in the background and can always say that he'd enjoy the show. So as much as I've got a lot of people to shout for the support and everything through this, my one and only shout out is literally to him. Literally to him. As the graphic said, so I miss you. I love you, and this is for you. So that's where we're going to end it before I literally get carried away. Thank you so much for watching, and I will try not to be like this next week. But I also can't guarantee it because it's really hard right now. So to everyone watching, big thank you, and we will see you next week.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone. Take care.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Take care.